Hello and welcome to another episode of Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that sits upon our very own throne of games. I'm your host, Chad.
I'm your host, Rob, and today we're going to be reviewing TBS's new show, King of the Nerds.
Before we get to our usual, this is our 100th episode.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, we're going to actually do like a recap, I think, probably, because our 1 year is coming up in a couple weeks. So we're going to do a recap back, but pretty awesome. We want to thank everybody for sticking with us.
Thank you.
We got people that watch our videos all the time, so
and we
thank
appreciate
you guys so
that,
much.
really.
I mean, this is crazy. We didn't think we'd be doing it this long, but we are, so thanks for sticking around. But you can check us out if this is your first episode or not, over at Twitter, at Epic Geek Out. Also, make sure you subscribe, because then you'll get all the new episodes when they come out.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Epic Geek Out, and also check out the great website we have, www.epicgeekout.com. But let's get into our review of King of the Nerds.
So today we're talking about the new show on TBS, King of the Nerds, hosted by Robert Carradine and Curtis Armstrong from Revenge of the Nerds fame. Aptly named for the title of the show. It is a reality-based show that focuses on the nerdiest of nerds doing competitions that involve nerd stuff to compete to be the King of the Nerds, which they will then get to sit upon the throne of games, which is
wordplay.
A wordplay on the Game of Thrones. Obviously, it kind of looks like
internet meme. They stole that from.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the throne of the Seven Kingdoms or whatever, Iron Throne, but it has like guitar band, stuff hanging off of it. It's pretty cool. We were looking forward to this. We first saw the preview for this during the 20, as we call it, or the Regal First Look before movies had come out, and they kind of previewed this, and it looked really interesting and intriguing. Obviously, our total demographic here, and interesting because one of our favorite shows that got canceled a couple years ago was Stan Lee's, what was that called? The
Who Wants to Be a Superhero?
Who Wants to Be a Superhero
Yeah, I love
show.
that.
So this kind of reminded me of that because there is a sequence that looks like they're going to have to make up their own superhero with their own superpowers and
I think they're
like
going to do some live action role playing stuff.
Yeah, there's going to be some really cool stuff. But we saw the first episode of this, which wasn't really what I was expecting. But what did you think of it? Do you think it has promise?
Yeah. So I mean, this is a reality show, and it's a reality-based like kind of competition show, kind of like Road Rules of like MTV fame and like
Survivor.
And but I didn't realize that they were going to be splitting up into teams. So like the first episode kind of starts where they have this challenge and they're picking teams, and there's a kind of twist that happened where I was like, oh, okay, I can get behind this. And it was really just an introduction of the different players in the show. And you have people from like they didn't just go with like what I expected the show to be with like pop culture nerd kind of thing. It's more there's NASA.
It's like the Big Bang Theory of
I mean
nerds.
there's a girl who works for NASA, mathematicians, and then there are kind of like some people who are like gamers, bloggers, things like that. So, it does have a wider cross-section than I would have imagined that they were going for. And I was not impressed with the show. I'm going to give it a couple more. George Takei is on the second episode, and he's always good for a couple laughs. So I'm going to definitely, watch the second episode. But really this, I don't know. I think it kind of was insulting to people who enjoy these kind of things, and they went for the stereotypes in this. They call the house Nerdvana, and it's kind of ridiculous. And I mean, don't take me wrong. If they asked me to be on it, I would be on it because first place gets 100,000, and I would definitely win. But it just seems it's kind of ridiculous, and I just didn't like the challenges that they had. And for a first episode of a show, I think they should kind of not have the best, save that for the finale, but definitely have something that draws people in. I mean, the last challenge to decide who went home was a chess match, and that doesn't translate into TV. Oh, and they did it where there's this girl with a push-up bra like moving the pieces, and then this guy with an axe destroys them. But like that was so lame. And how can they make chess interesting and translate to television? They certainly weren't able to do that. So I hope the challenges get better that they have to put them in, because the other one was just, wasn't even a challenge of wit or anything like that. It just had a twist to it. So it was fine. I'll give it like the benefit of the doubt that they were just, they had to introduce all these people, but it certainly like these reality shows that are reality based, like I love Top Chef because it puts them in competitions that are crazy and they're unique and you've never seen it before and things like that. In this, they played chess. So I really wasn't impressed by that.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think, they weren't unique. And also, you can't play along at home. Like, the first challenge was picking your team. The second challenge was...
Do you want to say what that was in case people didn't see it? I mean, it's hard to spoil a reality show.
I mean, they established that. I'm not going to say what the actual other piece was. Yeah. But the first challenge was picking the team, which is whatever.
By pouring paint on their head, that's one color.
But also the chess match...
Why is it even cool? Like,
the chess match could have been cool if it was... they didn't film it in a way that you could follow along and be like, oh, you should do that or do this. Like, it was just all over the place, and I don't even think probably in chronological order. So...
like, even if they had an expert, like... talk about it or something. I mean,
but
also these people didn't know how to play chess.
Yeah, none of them did, which was really crazy. But yeah, I mean, like the most fun with these kind of shows with the challenges are that you can either be yelling at someone because you should like speed up on Survivor, like grab that piece, what are you doing, go, or like you could actually like it was quiz based, you can answer the questions at home. Like you couldn't play along with any of these, and I think that was to the detriment. But I think eventually you will be because they're not all going to be like that. So I think that for the first episode was bad, but also I was surprised as well that it wasn't more pop culture based. I don't know if I like that or not because it was kind of like all the crazy like super hardcore nerds, and I guess it's not King of the Geeks, it's King of the Nerds. Yeah. So I guess geek is like more synonymous now with the pop culture, like geek is the new cool or whatever.
No, it's nerd. So cool, but
well, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's geek is like it's like the cool thing now. So they definitely weren't going for that aspect of it, which was weird because I thought that people would be more drawn in by that, but yet they kind of put down this demographic. So like I don't really understand kind of because like people aren't going to watch this if they're not into this kind of stuff. I don't think.
Or they're going to watch it just to kind of mock and to
laugh but I don't even think it had like that much mocking that like people would come on just to mock people. I think it was like they're trying to appeal to the geeks, but then they kind of put you down when you're watching it. So I felt kind of weird about that because I was like, what really are they going for? It was a misstep.
And also when they were picking their teams, they were like, well, we need someone who is skilled in this and someone who's skilled in this. But they didn't explain how they knew that they should be picking that or why they knew that they should have an engineer or they should have a mathematician. And I was kind of like lost. And also... I thought it was going to be like a solo thing. Like I was even just disjointed by the fact that it's
I think eventually it will be. But these shows a lot of times start with the team and then whittle down to the...
To select them, you couldn't think of like a cool way to do it except for pouring orange or blue paint over someone. Like that's just...
Like you could have made a GAC or something.
Yeah, or like, there could have been so many nerdier references that they could have made where you present them with like the bat symbol or so. I don't know, like anything.
Yeah, and I just think like a lot like... All these shows have that in-between banter on the green screen where they're talking, commenting on what's going on, which is cool.
I can't believe I was picked third to last. Well, I can't.
Yeah, but I feel like this was more scripted than most because there's no way that these people, as nerdy as they were, talked like this. Like some of these people talked in those intermediate things. Like you definitely know they told that one guy to say, well, they poured a compound of starch over my head mixed with blue, food color. Like you knew that was written. So that was kind of... Yeah, I mean, but that's part of these kind of shows, I guess. I'm excited just to see if they can, like, how geeky they can get with this, like, tying in really cool guests, like George Takei and other
Kevin
stuff
Smith
like that.
Is going to be on episodes. And so, like,
And, like, coming up, like, I'm into, like, creative stuff, like, let's come up with a superhero, your cool superhero, like, stuff like that. Playing a chess match.
Stuff like chess,
Playing stuff like chess, which... I like chess, don't get me wrong, but I mean, come on,
they need to be a lot more creative.
Like it's not creative. It's not a creative way to do this kind of show. And this is the first show of this kind of type. So like I feel like they could do anything with like all this geek stuff. They have so much to work from. So there's really a lot they can do. I think maybe we'll see. I don't know if this is just how it's going to be. I hope not. But
I mean, I certainly wasn't impressed by it, and I'll continue to watch it. But it definitely didn't.
Did you find any like people that you really liked or gravitated towards?
Yeah, there were people I like. I mean, there were people that I really did not.
There's people that I hated
on the show.
The hacker guy.
Yeah, and I can see how they're gonna like turn like the one guy who came in with the bow tie into a villain, which he doesn't seem like he could ever be a villain, but it kind of got that sense. And you know, it was fine. But there was actually no one that I like really was like, oh, that.
I like the pro gamer girl.
Yeah,
because she's the strongest competitor. I feel, you know. But then again, you know, if it's something that doesn't involve gaming, it could be really for naught. But yeah. So it's on Thursdays. Check it out. It's fun little brainless TV, and if you're a geek, if you're watching the show, you're probably gonna find some references that you can identify with, and it's all right.
I mean, the one girl really likes Batman, so.
So it's that time to give some thanks for some awesome geek stuff. Rob, what's your thanks today?
I'm going to give a shout out to one of my Christmas presents I got this year. Recently, within the past year and a half, I have grown a new addiction, and that is to coffee. I absolutely love it. And this year, my parents gave me a Keurig for Christmas, and I think it is just it's like Jetsons cool to me.
The epitome of lazy.
It is so great. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't need a full pot of coffee, but just to put a K-cup in there and, you know, get a cup when I need it. Because, you know, I don't really make it on weekdays, but on a weekend when I'm not going into work where there's coffee, you know, I need my fix. And my Keurig has been awesome for that. I recently ordered a refillable K-cup, which they have off of Amazon, so you don't have to spend the money on all, you know, because I've burnt through so many already. But
expensive, yeah.
Very expensive. So if you're a fan of coffee and you're just looking for, you know, a cup every now and then, I would suggest checking out a Keurig. And they're dropping in prices now, too, so not that bad. So, Chad, what are you thankful for?
Nice high-tech mixture with the kitchen.
Love it.
I am thankful for a website/subscription service. I have a long commute to work now, so after, you know, listening to all my iPod for so long, and now, you know, sports radio is getting old because, you know, there's not really sports I like right now. Audible.com, it gives you audiobooks. Your subscription is, I think, $14.95 a month, and you get 1 credit or 1 book, and then you can also get discounts on future ones. And it's awesome. I listened to The Passage, which was I had to get because I got it from the library. I was so excited, but then it didn't work with my iPhone, so I had to go on to Audible to get it. So I've been listening to that, and it's really cool because it saves your place, and there's also this really cool feature called Whisper Sync. So if you own the book also in the Kindle version, it'll like sync wherever you are, so you can listen to it.
That's awesome.
And then it'll sync it to the spot, and then you can read some, and then you can go back and listen to it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's so cool.
It's very cool, but the only thing is, it is a little pricey. So it's $15 per month, so basically $15 a book. But then you would also have to purchase the Kindle version, so it can get pricey. But for me, like, I have a hard time finding the time to read, sit down and read. So,
That's
you know,
great.
I have an hour drive to work. You can listen to it in the car. It's great. And, you know, it's pretty great because you can speed it up or slow it down. So,
I was listening to a podcast, and you know David Cross, the comedian?
Yeah.
He was doing a version where he read his book, and he said, like, about 6 times throughout it, he was just like, really? You're listening to me read it? You're lazy. You don't read it. And he said he got a lot of complaints from that.
That's
But
funny.
I thought that was so funny.
That is really funny. And it's actually cool because, like, some of the people that they have reading it, like for Ready Player One, they had Will Wheaton reading it, and like sometimes they have the actual author reading it. So I think that's really cool, just the voices that they get to read.
And also, if you do want to check it out, a lot of podcasts offer your first book free. So, you know, check those out. Just, you know, do Audible first book free, or
so
I
you can
think
try it out for a month.
Yeah, I think Nerdist does it sometimes, and WTF. So, you know, give them credit if you do want to sign up and get a free book.
Yeah, it's awesome. Books are good. So thanks for watching this, our 100th episode. We appreciate it once again. But we'll be back next week with some more episodes for you. Thanks for watching, and have a great week.